Hello, and welcome to this week's edition of Checks and Balances TV. Today's program is entitled, A Temporary Fix, What the Payroll Tax Cut Really Means. So let's see how today's news may impact your financial future. Congress passed a 2-month extension of the payroll tax cut 2 days before Christmas, giving 160 million American workers the gift of a little extra money in their paychecks to begin the new year. The temporary payroll tax cut is now scheduled to expire at the end of February, although a long-term solution is still sought by most congressmen that would extend this tax cut throughout the end of 2012. With the U.S. economy continuing to struggle on the road to financial recovery, the continued extension of the payroll tax cut is still a highly debated topic. Okay, so what's really going on here? Let's check the facts using our checks and balances process. The payroll tax cut took effect last January, shortly after Congress passed the Tax Relief, Unemployment Insurance Reauthorization, and Job Creation Act of 2010. This cut reduced an employee's FICA tax withholding rate used to fund Social Security and Medicare from 6.2% to 4.2%. Payroll taxes were set to increase after December 31, 2011, when certain provisions of the act would expire. But the cut was extended through February 29th, when Congress passed the Temporary Payroll Tax Cut Continuation Act of 2011 on December 23rd. The total cost of this 2-month extension is estimated to be $33 billion. Lawmakers decided on just a 2-month extension after they were unable to come to an agreement on how they would pay for the continued tax break. President Obama said he expects Congress to extend the payroll tax cut for the rest of 2012, preferably financed through a tax on wealthy Americans. The FICA payroll tax cut was originally intended for 2011 only, and was designed to stimulate the economy by boosting disposable income for American families. For example, workers who earn $50,000 per year would see an extra $40 per paycheck, which would total a little more than $1,000 a year. However, the argument between those who were for or against the extension was whether or not the previous stimulus effort actually worked. Those who support the bill believe it's essential to help boost the economy, giving consumers the opportunity to spend more money and enabling businesses to create more jobs. Those opposed to the extension do not feel it has accomplished these original objectives. And by extending it, long-term decisions that still need to be made to reduce the federal deficit and get our national debt under control remains unresolved. Okay. So now that we've checked the facts, let's balance this news using our checks and balances process to determine what action you should take today. So, where is the money coming from to fund the payroll tax cut at a time when the federal government needs to stop spending more money and reduce the deficit? While congressional Democrats, along with President Obama, favor tax increases on the wealthy, this 2-month extension will instead be paid through additional fees tacked on to mortgages backed by Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. These fees on new mortgages would permanently increase by 10 basis points under this legislation. For example, the cost of a $220,000 mortgage would go up by about $15 per month, according to the Obama administration's calculations. This would-be solution seems to be adding another hurdle to an already struggling housing market and is an added burden to the middle class. It's the wealthy who typically put down a large down payment through a commercial lender or even pay cash for their homes. The middle class often wants to put down only 10% or even less if they can to move into the home of their dreams. Well, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac is their solution to minimum down payments and requirements. However, as you can see, it's the middle class that's carrying the cost of this current tax break. Like most congressional bills, the Temporary Payroll Tax Cut Continuation Act of 2011 included other earmarks, which are provisions that apply funds to specific projects. One involved a 2-month extension of emergency federal unemployment benefits, which last up to 99 weeks, and affect an estimated 1.8 million jobless workers. Congress has extended also these long-term benefits several times since 2008 following the recession, and the estimated cost of extending them through the first 2 months of 2012 is estimated to be $8.4 billion. Another measure prevented a 27% cut in payments to Medicare physicians in January and February and will cost an estimated $3.6 billion. And Republicans added a provision that requires President Obama to make a decision within 60 days on a proposed 1,700-mile Keystone XL oil pipeline from Canada to the Texas Gulf Coast refineries. Okay, so what's the bottom line here? The goal of the payroll tax cut was to boost the economy and create more jobs. This tax cut was based on the assumption that consumers would use this extra money to help fuel the economy. But did it really work? I think it's safe to say it had minimal effect. Furthermore, reducing one tax only to add another tax to middle-class Americans with an extra fee should they decide to buy a home in a struggling housing market does not make any sense at all. So what is Congress really thinking? In my opinion, they're not. They're just kicking the can down the road another 2 months, delaying the inevitable. In the meantime, while you're receiving this extra money from the federal government, do yourself a favor and put it to good use. And now for Matt's weekly financial tip, tool, or technique. The average American worker receives an extra $40 per paycheck as a result of the payroll tax cut, which comes to a little more than $1,000 annually. Make that money work hard for you by following one of these 3 financial strategies. Strategy number 1 is pay off debt. This strategy will help you save more in the long run, as you're paying off principal before interest can accumulate. Set aside the extra amount you're receiving from each paycheck and use it to either pay down credit card debt or other outstanding bills. Number 2, fund a retirement savings plan. This strategy can be tax deductible and will compound your money into the future. If you have a 401k, 403b, or IRA, automate your deposits. Talk to your employer about dividing your paycheck and depositing the extra money into your retirement savings plan. If you don't have a retirement savings plan yet, now is a perfect time to start one. Talk to your financial advisor to find out the best options for you and your money. And number 3 is start an emergency fund. Not enough people have an emergency fund today, which should be roughly between 6 to 9 months of your monthly living expenses. Putting money away each month in a designated savings account can help you afford any unforeseen events in the future. You should also automate this process as well. Having money directly deposited into your savings account every pay period will make this strategy painless and easy to accomplish. These are just a few examples of how you can use the extra money this year from the payroll tax cut to your advantage. But they all require having a structured financial plan in place and then sticking to it. Remember, this tax cut is only temporary, so make sure you're using this extra cash to get ahead while you can. Be sure to log on to our website and download our featured report, The Truth About Taxes. A free report that reveals how to legally reduce or eliminate some of the taxes you may be paying today. And finally, remember that only you can control your financial future. You can succeed. You just need confidence and determination. I'm Matthew J. Reddick from Checks and Balances TV. Until next week, dump debt, invest wisely, believe in yourself, and make it happen.